Let's now look at multivoting. We have brainstormed approximately 50 ideas, and the 50 number isn't magic, so we don't put a limit on how many ideas we'll brainstorm. I've actually seen teams go through 6 sets of letters, so over 100 ideas that they have generated, about 150-ish. So you don't know how long it's going to take or how many you'll have. You just push the process until you're done. But we can't research all of those, and we don't have the luxury of considering any of those very carefully except the ones that are relevant. And how do we decide what's relevant? Well, the first step is to establish criteria, and these will be soft criteria, and we just want 2 to 3. So a soft criterion will be something that's kind of general in nature. It's not very well defined. So for example, I would say low cost might be a criterion I want to use. When I make it hard later, it will be an exact cost or within a specific cost range. So kind of general, what we want to do is focus the team's vote so that we're all voting for the same reasons rather than coming at this vote with any possible interpretation of what I should be voting for. So if I set the criteria, it might be, so I could say low cost. Let's say we're trying to solve accidents in the parking lot, and we recognize that part of the problem is we don't remove the snow quickly enough. So we want to solve that, and we have a bunch of ideas we can look at to solve that. So we say it ought to be low cost and something that could be implemented within 3 months. Okay, well that gives us a good starting point. So everybody votes, and the votes might look something like this. So you'll have down the left-hand side, assuming you're using a flip chart. If you're using a computer, it will be different. But down the left-hand side, you have your hash marks for everybody's votes. And once you tally those votes, then you need to decide what to do with it. So when we first start multi-voting, a good ground rule is vote for half of the items on the list. So if we have 50 ideas, we'll vote for 20 or 25. Voting for 30 or 40 is just too many. We can't keep all of that straight. So even if we have 100 ideas, we won't vote for half of the list. Probably don't start with more than 25 to begin with. So we voted for our 25, and out of that, we'll start with our 5s maybe, and then we go down to our 4s. You don't see any here. I'll just make one. And so we'll circle those, and we'll see how that ends up. I want to end up with more than 10. And so if 15 or 20 would be fine. The ultimate goal of multi-voting is to come up with 10 ideas when you're done. So it's important that we vote at least twice, and twice we'll usually do it. We vote for half the list, circle our largest numbers, and work our way down until we have 15, 18 ideas. 20 would be fine. And then we vote again. Now, some might say, well, let's just vote for our top 5. Well, if we do that, we eliminate a lot of ideas without much consideration. And so we're trying to give all of the ideas as much of a chance as possible to survive by getting scrutiny at multiple levels. So we vote once, end up with, say, 18 ideas, and then we'll vote again. And so it will be like this. And this might be a 2. When we vote again, we'll do the same thing and circle our highest items until we end up with 10 ideas roughly. 10 isn't magical, but we don't want to less than that. 11 or 12 would be fine. But the goal of multi-voting is we vote a couple of times based on criteria. And remember that point. Anytime we're selecting ideas or eliminating them, we have to have criteria in place. So we set a couple of soft criteria, we vote, and then we vote again, and end up with approximately 10 ideas.